Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Whoa, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Run It Back. We've got Lou Will, Chandler P. I'm Michelle B. How we doing, Lou?
Good morning. I'm doing well. I had a great weekend with my kids. Shout out to Winners United Basketball. We had all our teams from fifth grade all the way up to 11 competing this weekend, and we did decently. So I'm all right this morning.
Here we go.
Whoa. There in the area, or did you have to travel?
We were local this weekend. We got a couple weeks before we go back out of town. We go to New Orleans in a couple weeks, but we were local this weekend. So, it's always good to play against the local teams that you have your rivalries and all of that stuff. So it was a good time.
Okay. I love this. And Chandler, good for you too?
I just got some news that really pissed me off. But yeah, the weekend was good.
Let's get into it, Chandler.
Lou's wearing the hoodie. I got to give it some time until I throw that thing back on, but I love that Lou's repping it.
I know.
We don't shy away from it. Hey, we never let a hard time humble us, man.
so that was a hard time. Raymond Felton will be on a little bit later. We're going to get to hoops right away, but Chandler just sort of touched on it. We've got some breaking news this morning. Man, people haven't even had their coffee yet. And shout out Sharania reporting that Jamahl Mosley is out in the Orlando Magic organization as coach. I mean, Game 7 just ended. The jerseys aren't even washed yet, Chandler. I feel like we could have taken a breath here, but it seems like they were sitting on this one ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the rumors were swirling for the better half of this season, and I think it's ignorant. I think it's short-sighted. I think, obviously, they didn't meet expectations in the regular season, and they kind of, fell to an 8 seed. And when we thought they were going to be, close as high as, a 1 to a 4 seed heading into the season, kind of what they gave us last year, returning everybody, signing Desmond Bane was exactly what they needed. So I think going into the season, part of the issue here was the expectation was high. Now, on the flip side, they dealt with a bunch of injuries again. Paolo had his struggles, his inconsistencies. Their second best player, arguably their first best player, Wagner, was out for most of this series. Jalen Suggs, who the GM gave $150 million, not Jamahl Mosley, was absolutely brutal this series. And you fired Jamahl Mosley, who is, and it hurts me because I personally know the guy. He's an unbelievable dude. He's a great coach. He's a great defensive mind, which I think you need nowadays in an offensive-minded NBA league. And it's just, it bothers me. They were 45-37. And again, I think they just took the 1 seed to 7 games. And if they happen to win that game, then they realize their potential and they give them another chance, or at least go into next season with the understanding of this is how we play and this is how we compete, taking the Detroit Pistons, who were the best team all season in the Eastern Conference, to 7 games. I think Game 6 really hurt him at home, getting blown out like that. I think that was kind of the icing on the cake of where this decision was ultimately made. But it's just a tough break. And now what? Now are you going to go and hire a fresh face and a guy that's never been a head coach before? Or are you going to just do the NBA refunnel thing where you hire Billy Donovan, who just failed for the last whatever years in Chicago? So let's give him another chance in Orlando. It doesn't make sense to me. I hate it. I think he'll get another head coach job because he's that type of dude in person. And I think if they would have given him just a little bit more time, and next season, if they do this again, if they fail, fine. But I think doing this the night of or the day in the morning after losing Game 7 to a 1 seed, I think it's messed up.
All right, Lou.
Well, Chandler, we've been talking about it for so long this season. My opinion is, and where I'm coming from is all secondhand information. My opinion on it is, I think this decision was made way before this series. No matter the outcome of the series, it looked like the Orlando Magic were going to move in a different direction. You hear the conversations about him and Paolo not seeing eye to eye and things of that nature. And when you have such a young star player like that, it puts management in a position they got to choose, especially if there's some tension. And again, I'm only speaking from secondhand information. I don't know anything besides what's been reported and what's been put out there. But knowing the business and knowing how this thing operates, if the coach is at odds with the guy that they want to invest in long term, they're probably going to shade the way of the star player. You see that a lot of times in the NBA. In the NBA, the players run the league. It is a players' league. In college, the coaches run the league. They are the stars of the show. In the league, the stars are the stars. And it looked like this decision was made pre-7 games or what have you. You know, I know Chandler and I, we have a difference in opinion on when this decision was going to be made. But for them to make it this quickly, you know, damn near without even exit meetings being had, it feels to me, knowing how this game goes and how the business works, that this decision was made a long, long time ago.
Yeah, and that's fair, Lou. I do think that the talks, the conversations in-house have been going on for a long time. And again, this just proves our point earlier in the season that the relationship with him and Paolo is not as strong as it should be. But looking at Paolo, how he just played in this series, this was some of the best basketball he's ever played in his career. And that is under Jamahl Mosley in the biggest stage and the biggest point of the season. You know, game 5, game 6, game 7, elimination games. And you just saw the best basketball he's ever played. So again, I know he had his struggles throughout the year, his inconsistencies. I know there was some offensive frustration about timing and spacing and you know, kind of the system in which Jamahl Mosley had offensively, not getting Paolo to his potential. But the dude just played unreal in this playoff season and series when it mattered most. Wagner, like I said, was out. Desmond Bane was okay, but solid. So, like, there was a lot of issues here, and I don't think all of them should fall on Jamahl Mosley. I really don't, but I think you are partially right. I think this decision was made up, but the fact that they did play so good, get up in the series against the 1 seed, I think I'd give this guy another chance, going in with confidence that we can hang with anybody next year.
I experienced that. I experienced that when I actually came to Atlanta. We had Nate McMillan as a coach. He was the interim coach, and you could tell him and Trey, they kind of had a thing going on. We wasn't really sure what it was, but they just recognized that Nate probably wasn't the leader moving forward for Trey, right? And then we go on to have this amazing run. We get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Everybody is on the same page because in the playoffs, Chandler, as you know, your pride is on the line, right? So any differences that you have when it comes to playoffs, you got to put that to the side. Now you're on a worldwide stage, and you don't want your problems to peak out when the world is watching on the biggest stage of the year when it comes to the playoffs. Every bar in America, in the world, has the playoff song. Everybody is rallying. Everybody is having watch parties. You're on the main stage, and so all of those things you like to push them to the side. And so when it came down to Nate McMillan, eventually he got another year to do the job because we did such a great time, but they still butted heads. And as a team, you know, we just couldn't figure out the personality of our group and how we wanted to play for us to be successful moving forward with Coach McMillan, right? And they had to make a change. I think we're seeing some of the same thing with Orlando. No matter how well we played in the playoffs, whether we put aside all of these things that didn't get us to the place that we wanted, but we had a pretty good showing in the playoffs, we still got to go in a different direction, but because we feel like long-term, this maybe isn't the mix for the players that we have and the coach that we have. I think he did a tremendous job. I don't know him personally, but anytime that, you know, he and I have interacted with each other, he seems like a quality man to me. So, you know, I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on in there, but from my situation and my experiences, this is probably what's at play right now.
I wonder if he knew, like if they knew this whole time and they just played their asses off and he coached his ass off and it was just like, I know I'm out, but let's go ahead and give this thing one year.
He was holding out hope that this could save him probably.
Yeah, maybe.
And I also think, Lou, I think you're onto something where I think front office, they think that this team is enough. We have enough talent. We have Paolo. We have Wagner. We like our role players. So we just need a change at the top to kind of bring the best out of them. Maybe a fresh face, a fresh start can motivate these guys. I don't agree with it, but obviously that's the way they're going.
And by the way, Paolo was asked if they have enough, and he was like, no, we just lost. We don't have enough. I mean, so it's going to be an interesting offseason down there in Orlando. But we did have some basketball as well that we need to talk about. Okay, Game 7. Hello, Philadelphia. Embiid leads his squad. First series win over the Boston Celtics since 1982. That's like my time. Joel Embiid, 34 points. Tyrese Maxey with 30. Edgecombe had 23. Jaylen Brown finished with 33 and 9. You didn't have Jason Tatum out there. But considering we all know the history of Joel Embiid, we know his history, unfortunately, with injury. We know he just had an appendectomy in April, and he's out there giving it his all, Lou. Is this his best performance yet? Playoff performance? Hell, any performance, honestly.
It has to be. It has to be. We can reference a few different scenarios. We can reference him getting to the semis a few times, but he's fell short. You know, his 50-point game when he was struggling with Bell's palsy, even getting there, fell short. Losing again to Toronto, fall short. This one, he got over the hump. He got over the hump. So you got to say this is his best playoff appearance that we can reference. But I just want to give him credit. You know, from that first game when he came back in game 4 to all the way to game 7, the adjustment that he made to be a great teammate and to be the Joel Embiid that we've grown accustomed to seeing and being dominant inside the paint and just being a force on both ends of the floor, he made great adjustments. He made great adjustments for his team. And he was selfless. Anytime you have somebody that's accomplished so many things in their career and they have new guys come to a team like a Tyrese Maxey and he come into his own. VJ Edge come, young rookie that's coming into his own. And he's recognizing what the future looks like for Philadelphia and to say, you know what, instead of me trying to come in and take over and be dominant, let me figure out how I can eat off of these guys and I can be a piece of many pieces to come. We haven't seen a lot of this Philadelphia team healthy, right? And so when he sacrifices the way that he does, that allows you to get maximum production out of PG. That allows you to get the most out of Edgecombe. It allows you to get the most out of Tyrese. And at the same time, he threw in a couple 30-point games himself, right? He didn't settle at the three-point line. Like that shot that he takes at the top of the key from 3, that's usually the first option in their offense, and he takes that shot. Instead, he let his offense progress into the first option, second option, third option. Then the fourth option, if it came back to him at the three-point line, then he would shoot that shot. So he allowed everybody to get into their bags and be the special players that they are instead of just taking these quick three-point shots early in the shot clock, opposed to putting his will on a team and playing inside the three-point line and being dominant and getting to the rim and playing some bully ball and using his size where he could be aggressive. So the adjustments that he made from game 4 all the way to the end were incredible. And I think ultimately that's what got Philadelphia over the hump, opposed to, you know, just settling for jump shot, and opposing your will and getting to the lane and getting to the hole.
Yeah. Two things. When I watched them in game 7, I was like, how is this team a 7 seed? Like, this team is unbelievably balanced. They're so good. When they get this version of Joel Embiid, it's just like night and day how good and how dominant this team can be. And Joel Embiid, this has got to be his best performance. This is game 7, season on the line, like nothing else matters. And he came out here and played his best basketball and had his most dominating game of the postseason. And yeah, he's had some great, you know, game 6s, the 50 ball after the knee surgery, you know, all the injuries and the Bell's palsy that he was dealing with to have some of the games he had. But there's nothing like game 7, as we know, in the playoffs. And the fact that he came out here and dominated after kind of getting highly criticized for how he came and played that first game, being almost too aggressive. And it looked like it panned out because they needed
tremendous adjustment, Chandler.
Yeah, they marinated a little bit. Got to give them a minute.
Like,
good Lord.
I'm just saying, like, they needed all of that 34 and 12, and they looked like the better team. Like, Maxey was unbelievable. VJ was unbelievable. And if I didn't know anything and I didn't see the 6 games before this or the season, I would think the better team advanced, and Philadelphia proved that. And that was a hell of a comeback and just a hell of a way to finish the series. And now fully kind of healthy going into this next series is going to be unbelievable because we know the history there. We know how rocking those 2 stadiums and those fan bases can get. So I look forward to the Joel Embiid trolling. I look forward to the Knicks fans going wild. This is going to be fireworks.
Yeah, we'll get to that too, because Joel Embiid did have a nice little offer for Philly fans as far as tickets are concerned, but they were only leading by 1 at 99-98. And then here comes Maxey scoring 8 of the final 10 points, closes this thing out. I don't know if I'm a Sixers fan, Chandler, I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot because I still have Joel Embiid, but I got Tyrese Maxey as like the legitimate future and franchise guy moving forward, right?
100%. And then you got a little clone of him and VJ Edgecombe that's right behind him. And one of the best youngest backcourts in the league. So, yes, I think Maxey is the franchise player. He is the future. He is the present. He is everything to this team. And I think Joel Embiid's okay with that. You know, Joel Embiid was that before, and Joel Embiid can still be that on certain nights, like he just was when his season was on the line in game 7. And they're still going to rely on him. They're still such a better team when Joel Embiid kind of dominates like he did. There's no doubt about that. But yes, given the age and the health of Tyrese Maxey and what he's accomplished already in such a short period of time, he is their guy going forward. And fans should be extremely excited about that. This kid is electric. He is dynamically fast and gets out in transition, can score the ball in so many different ways. And when Joel Embiid gets it going, he has no problem giving the ball to him. He has no problem letting Paul George get his. Like, he has got a great balance and approach to the game while understanding, like, all right, now game's on the line. Now give me the ball and let me do what I do. So I think it's super impressive, the growth he's made this year. And he is a perennial all-star, all-NBA type talent. And they're going to need him, obviously, to be really, really good going up against Jalen Brunson.
Agreed.
He's going to have fun.
Agreed.
By the way, Lou,
Yeah.
you want some hot analysis, Lou? I really
Let's
like
talk
watching
about
Tyrese Maxey play basketball. It brings me
Yeah.
joy. It brings me
It
joy.
does. It does. And for Philadelphia to be successful, they got to go in a direction that Tyrese Maxey is going to take them. They're a much better basketball team when they're able to play fast, when they're able to play with pace and attack in the transition like we're seeing right here. Like, all of these things, he needs the basketball in his hands, and they got to go the way that he's going to go. And I like the fact that everybody understands that moving forward. There is no confusion. And when you have that, that makes your team so much stronger. It doesn't matter about what seed you're in. It doesn't matter about any of that when you have all of these guys on the same page, when they feel like they can beat anybody. So, this next series coming up, it's going to be a dogfight. Both teams are healthy. Both teams got everybody in their lineups. It's going to come down to who can take what away from who and see which team is more prepared for the other. And I think the way that Philadelphia is playing, 7 seed or not, they feel just as confident as the New York Knicks moving forward in this series. So it'll get interesting tonight.
By the way, it's a quick turnaround too. So they're hot. They're moving right in. Let's go. Let's just look at the Celtics for a second here, because it's a lot of rumblings coming out of that Boston area after this one. The starting lineup that Joe Mazzulla put on the floor for this final game, Derek White, sure, Ron Harper Jr., Jaylen Brown, Baylor Shireman, and Luke Garza. The only two that scored were Brown and White in the game. Now, Celtics fans are calling for Mazzulla to be fired. I'd like to also add the asterisk that he is a finalist for the NBA Coach of the Year that's coming out at some point. I want to say today, but I'm not sure. We just saw a guy lose his job after a Game 7 loss. Chandler, is there a shot in the world that Mazzulla's out?
There's not, but it's funny that they just didn't have their second best. They just didn't have their second best player, and they lost Game 7. But they were the high seed, and his job's safe. But Jamahl Mosley was the 8th seed, and he gets fired today. I get it. The league, it's what has he done for me lately? And again, this is a guy that we've been pushing all year long, that over-exceeded expectations, and no one expected them to be here. I think that's the difference here. No one thought the Celtics were going to have the season they had. No one thought the Celtics were going to be the 2 seed. And yeah, this is devastating. This is disappointing. They think they're a better team than Philadelphia. Like, this is the matchup they kind of wanted. If you had asked them before, I think they were perfectly okay with this matchup. And they lost. And now the Orlando Magic is the opposite. Everyone thought they were going to be a higher seed, and they end up falling to the 8th seed. And they were the mismatch problem for Detroit. So it's 2 different situations. There's no way in hell you fire this guy. What he did this full season for 82 games, exceeding all expectations, getting production from the Baylor Shiremans of the world. You can't move on from him. This guy's a stud. He's going to be there for a long time. Derek White was very inconsistent. This is the first time I've ever watched him play and just thought he was bad. And he was inefficient. His percentages were down all across the board. And part of their success is dependent on him kind of doing everything. And when you look at those starting lineups, they're switching the starting lineup every single game. 0 points from Shireman and Garza, and I think Harper when they started. That's never happened. So again, a lot of teams, a lot of coaches are dealing with injuries with different lineups at this point of the season. It's different. It's unique. But that's the name of the game, and it's going to continue to happen when guys go down. But there's no chance in hell that Joe Mazzulla gets fired.
Yeah, agree with Chandler. No, it's no chance he loses. And look, some teams, you'll hear it in the locker room. We're gonna live and die with our brand of basketball. We're just gonna live and die with it, whatever comes of it, right? The Boston Celtics are a team that live and dies by the 3-point line. They shot 27% from the 3-point line. So if that doesn't tell you anything about who they are, that's the whole story, right? So I don't think you make a coaching change in Boston by playing a brand of basketball that you said that you have subscribed to, that your fan base and your organization has said, hey, look, we're going to be a team that's going to live and die behind the 3-point line. Well, they died. They died. They didn't shoot the ball well. The three guys in Garza, Sharman, and Harper Jr., they were 0 for 7 from the field collectively, all 7 shots on the three-point line. That's the identity of this team. Derek White, 9 for 26 from the field. 16 of those attempts were three-pointers. He was 5 for 16 from the three-point line. That tells you the story right there. Like, could he have changed the starting lineup? Sure, but where was he gonna go? Hauser? You can make a case where Kata could have started to give you some size or to match up with Joel Embiid or use his quickness and him being able to run the floor to make it difficult for Joel Embiid. But I get it. He's a force, so they went with Garza. They went with a bigger and stronger body that they felt like that could match up with him. You had Pritchard coming off the bench. So they felt like they had pieces coming off the bench that was going to give them a balance of having 2 rotations. It just didn't work out that way. Those guys waited for the wrong time of year in the wrong game in the wrong scenario to lay an egg, and that's what they did against Philadelphia. I think this was their style of game opposed to them just not making shots. That was it. Other than that, it was a grind out basketball game, and they just shot it. They shot it poorly from the 3-point line. 13 for 49. And that's their identity. So, if they shot it well from the 3-point line and still lost, we might be having a different conversation. But they lost playing their brand of basketball. I don't think you make a change when you do that.
Yeah, this is the same conversation we were having when they won the championship. If you remember, like they're going to live and die by the 3-point line, and they just happened to make a bunch of shots and were way more efficient during that run. This year, throughout this whole series, announcers, analysts, everyone was questioning, how does this team grind out wins when they don't shoot the ball well? And they don't. Like you can see, they rely so heavily on it to where, like, I love Derek White. He's such a good player. Like 16 threes, like it's outrageous. Like they got to find ways to get out in transition, get to the rim, get in the paint, swing, like easier, also better looking threes. They take them early in the clock. They would rather a 3-man fast break against 2. They would rather shoot a 3 than take a layup. And that's just the way it's become. It's the way their system is. They're going to look really good when they make shots, and they're going to look, unfortunately, really bad when they don't. And so I think it's again, this is the system that clearly works. They have the right pieces around it. They were missing Jason Tatum, who came back wildly fast, but he was a huge part of this team and this offense. But that's no excuse. Every team across the playoffs right now is dealing with somebody out or somebody hurt. It's part of the game. But Joe Mazzulla ain't going anywhere.
He might be the coach of the year, like in a few days or whenever this gets done. By the way, it's like watching a bird fly into the same window over and over again and not making changes. Like at some point, don't you just adapt, tweak, adjust? I don't know.
Well,
I don't get it. It's not enjoyable.
You got to have the personnel to do it as well, Beadle. Like they're not the most aggressive basketball team, and that makes him a strong coach to me. Like you play to the strengths of the roster that you have. He has a ton of shooters on his team. He have guys that can shoot the basketball. So instead of wishing on what you could have or what we could do, I'm going to play to the strengths of my group and give them credit. It's gotten them thus far, and it's won them a championship. At some point, it was going to bite them in the butt, and it came in a Game 7 against the Philadelphia 76ers when one of your star players is out with a calf situation, So I don't think we overreact to it, but the reality of it is somebody has to lose in a team that lost. They lost playing their brand of basketball, and Philadelphia decided, hey, look, instead of getting into a 3-point shootout with them, 2s are worth more than 0. So if they're going to continue to shoot it poor, we're going to at least keep piling up twos, attacking the rim, playing inside of the line. We got some of the best mid-range players in the game, and Tyrese Maxey and Paul George. Joel Embiid is a threat inside the line. He can put the ball on the floor or use his fadeaway. They got a lot of guys that can play from 23 feet and within that can still beat you on a basketball court, and that's what happened to Philadelphia. So give them credit for not getting into a shootout with Boston and instead doing something that got them over the hump.
It is pretty interesting, too, Beads. I know you brought up the coach of the year. Like it's going to be announced this round. Joe Mazzulla's out, and the other 2 candidates, Mitch Johnson and JB Bickerstaff, are still playing. This is where the timing of the voting and everything is a little weird. Like, how awkward if Joe Mazzulla does win this and he's the only coach of those finalists.
It was going to be awkward anyways.
And he called it stupid.
He was going to be awkward anyway. He called it stupid already.
Yeah, well, he was naturally going to make it awkward.
Look, I know I have friends that voted for him, so I'm like, I'm be curious to see how this pans out. Like, I'm kind of going to laugh. By the way, If you would think that they were like up on there talking about this thing after the game, like, yeah, we messed up, you'd be wrong. They were defiant. Here they are.
And too many times, it's all about winning, but you have to surrender to the idea if you're gonna, when you're going after that, you're gonna fail.
Nothing to hang our head over. I got no regrets. I don't think my teammates should have any regrets.
I just said it. I just said it. They're going to live and die. They felt like they lost the game playing their brand of basketball. They don't feel like they got beat. They feel like they lost based on how they played. So this checks out for me. This checks out. No regrets, no nothing. We didn't shoot the ball well and we lost. That's how they feel.
I don't love it. I see both sides. I know there's one champ at the end. Just because you don't win a championship, does that define success that season? I don't necessarily agree with that either. But at the end of the day, they exceeded all expectations of the regular season. They locked up a 2 seed. They had a great regular season. Awesome. They failed in the first line. They were a favorite, and they lost to an underdog. They lost to a 7 seed in the first round. That just looked like a better team, although it went to 7 games. Game 7, especially, like the Philadelphia 76ers, they look like a better team. So hang your head, have regrets? No, but being disappointed and expecting to win, like we play to win. So like the fact that you don't win and you don't survive in advance, that is a failure. But I'm also on the point where I see that there's a future and there's a runway, and it's not just over right now because you lose this season, like, or this series. You know what I mean? So I see both sides, but
yeah,
it just seems a little soft to be like, you can't win them all. Like I would.
Well, but I understand it though. But I understand it though, Chandler. This is their identity, right? And they just got outdueled in their identity. Like I'm looking at the numbers. They turned the ball over 5 times the whole game. They had 20 assists in this game. If you look at that, didn't get out rebounded. They tied in rebounding. They played a pretty decent basketball game outside of the 3-point line. So when you look at it in that lens, if you're the Boston Celtics, they might not feel as bad about it as the outside world because they feel like we lost by 9 points. That's 3 3-pointers. If we make 5 or 6 more 3-pointers, we're having a different conversation. That's probably how they're looking at it. So I agree with you. You want to see a little bit more intensity from Joe Mazzulla after that, but sometimes we might get a little too much intensity from Joe Mazzulla. So again, this is a team. Yeah, this is a team that lost playing their style of basketball, and they don't feel no way about it.
I'll tell you this. There's one team in the NBA that if they don't win the championship this year, it's a failure.
Yeah.
And that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like they have the pressure. Right. They're a championship or bust. Even San Antonio, they've had a great year. The future's so bright there. If they don't win the championship, we'll go get them next year is my mindset, my message to the team in the locker room. OKC doesn't win the championship after the dominating fashion they've done, winning it last year, MVP. Like that is the only team that this is where I agree with the comments by Jaylen Brown and Mazzulla. The Oklahoma City Thunder, that's the only team where they can be like, okay, you know what? This was a failure. This was a bust. We have such high expectations. We expected to win the championship this year. If we don't, it's an issue, and we need to make a little bit of tweaking and changes here to make sure this doesn't happen again next year. All these other teams are just chasing them, in my opinion.
I don't know. As a fan, if my team just lived and died by the 3, I would be at this point very frustrated with the process. Like it's not fun to watch as a fan. However, let's talk future here because we had Sam Amick on last month talking about the Celtics would be very interested in perhaps acquiring the services of one Giannis Antetokounmpo if possible. But in doing so, they would have to get rid of either Tatum or Brown. That is, in my opinion, Lou, when we're talking Boston Celtics, that's blowing up the team a little bit. So
it is.
Would you do that?
I don't think they do as far as Giannis goes. We're beating a dead horse at this point, but we're talking about a team that has a clear identity and a style of play that they want to play. So does Giannis fit that mold? I don't think so. So, and we know for a fact, Tatum and Brown, they've won a championship playing this way. Now, is it a unique brand of basketball that's only worked for a handful of teams in the history of the NBA? Sure, but that's their brand of basketball. That's what they've decided works best for them. And so if you're going to bring in somebody that doesn't do that well at all, that changes everything for me. And one of those guys have to go, and then that changes your identity. And so for me, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel in making that move. But any team you put Giannis on, it makes them a better basketball team. But it does change the trajectory of how you play and how you move moving forward. So
yeah, it's definitely interesting. If you get a chance to go get a Giannis, sure. But again, this team, Jason Tatum, a whole nother summer to come back and to be who he was last year. That's also interesting. So, and I don't just think it would take one of them. I think if they had to choose, I think they would send Tatum, just given the injury right now and the health. But they're going to have to throw in someone else. Is Derek White in it? Is Pritchard in it? Like if I'm Milwaukee, I'm not doing it straight up for one of those guys. So I need some of these pieces. I want Kata. I want someone else. I want someone. It ain't just straight up.
Why is it not straight up?
Straight up.
I'm doing straight up.
It's picks. It's a couple other players.
Giannis has a history too with injury. Like it's not like he's just perfectly clean slate.
It's gonna be it's
gonna be some pieces involved in the trade.
Well,
a trade like that you don't do straight up.
But Lou's also right. Like, is Missoula, they're going to change their whole style of play based on Giannis, or do they just let him play how he plays and keep surrounding them, keep the Sam Hausers and the shooting around him? It'd be interesting, but I think they'll take a look at it. But like I said, it's not just going to be straight up, not even close.
Oh, then I'm not doing it. I'm not blowing up the team for that. We got to take. I know. I agree with you guys. It turns out for different reasons. Raymond Felton is standing by. Will join us next. Perfect day for Raymond.
My God.
And UNC2 back there.
Run it back, run it.
Another round, around, I'm a shooter.
Raymond Felton from midcourt. Raymond Felton.
I'm gonna take my shot, cause I'm gonna get the job done. Get the job done.
I love this. Raymond Felton here from To the Baja podcast, which we just had Charlie Villanueva on last week. So this is like, we're all friends now, feels like, Raymond. I like this for us.
Yes, we are. How y'all doing?
How we doing, Ray?
Good.
Man, I'm good. How y'all doing? What's up, fellas?
Man, I love seeing the clips, the pod. You guys are killing it. I want to ask you right now. We both had Jamahl Mosley in Dallas. I don't know if you saw the news. He just got fired in Orlando. What are your thoughts on that? Is it a little short-sighted? There's always been rumors that it's going to happen, but then they take to Game 7. What do you think of this?
Unfortunately, that's the bad side of the business, with basketball. But I think Jamahl is a great coach. I was so happy to see him get his opportunity as a head coach, and I hate it to end this way. I was hoping he was going to win this series because I feel like if he would have won this series, it might have saved his job. But you lose a 3-1 lead. They already had him on the bubble. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough.
Yeah.
We kind of knew what was coming. But I hate it though. Mo's been great. When I came to Dallas, I had a real bad ankle injury, and he was right there with me every step of the way throughout that injury, and just held me down, kept me there mentally, and I just hate to see it to such a good dude.
Yeah, agree.
And to his best friend, like the whole thing is just sloppy and dirty, and I hate it. That being said, Charlie was very kind to Chandler when I asked for stories from Dallas days, and I know it could have gotten real bad real quick. So, can you give us something juicy?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone. CP, that's my guy. That's my guy, man.
What did you do, Chandler? Like, why won't anyone out you?
You got no stories anybody can tell about you. That say a lot, Chandler.
That says a lot about you.
Exactly. It's a family network.
It's a family network. Shut up.
Why are you guys trying to get me in trouble?
Because that's what we're here to do. All right, fine. But the other thing is, when we talked to him, he wanted us to make sure that you knew, and I don't know why, that Lou and Chandler are very much in the camp that LeBron James is the GOAT, and said you would not like that, perhaps.
I'm pretty sure Charlie did say that, but
he told us to get you going.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's their opinion. My GOAT is MJ, no matter what. LeBron has done amazing things since the first day he stepped into the NBA, and I'm not going to ever take that away from him. He's an amazing player. He's going to go down as one of the best to play the game. But the best to play the game for me is Michael Jordan, hands down. That's
See,
just
the
that's my goal. That's my goal.
The only part where you lost was you said no matter what, like nothing LeBron is doing this year or next year or the year after that doesn't matter at all in the whole ranking.
Raymond's smart.
He can play another 5 years.
Man, it's about personal.
He can play another 5 years and it won't change my opinion. You know, MJ is he's just my GOAT. But don't get me wrong, LeBron is definitely in that, you know, and to be honest with you, and just me right now, my heart, I got Kobe number 2. That's how I feel. And LeBron, to me, LeBron is definitely top 3 all the time. And, you know, and that may change as he continues to play because he's doing amazing things. For him to be 41, the same age I am, and the way I'm hurting every day I get up out of bed, and for him to be doing what he's doing is amazing. I got to give him his flowers. You know, he's definitely doing amazing things.
You know what, Ray? We'll take that because it's people out there that wouldn't even put Kobe number 2. All of a sudden, I'm hearing conversations that Kobe ain't even top 5. But that's another day. But I keep you on. Yeah, that's another day. I keep you on Lakerland for a second because one of your takes was about Luka. You say he didn't play winning basketball, and tell me what made you feel that way about his style of play, and do you obviously you stand by that take, but just give me some more context on that.
Okay. Well, let me start off by saying Luka, to me, is one of the best scorers in this game. You know, obviously he's I think he would end up being scoring champ this season. Right. You know what I'm saying? Averaging the most points a game. But to me, I think Luka, with him being so talented, you know, I think that he is just trying to score. Granted, he's a great passer. He's only had triple-double games. I mean, I think he had a 70-point game with a triple-double, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I just look at his game sometimes with me just going to the games in Dallas when he was here and just seeing him play. I think with him being so talented and with him having you have to double team Luka, and there's nobody in the NBA can guard him one-on-one. I just don't think it's possible. So with you having that type of gravity, I think you can make guys better a whole lot more. And that's what I meant by that statement. Not more so that he's not playing meaningful basketball. I just feel like he can make guys better more than he do, you know, because he is so talented. You know, he's a 6'8" point guard. He can score easily from every part of the court. Post up, mid-range, shoot the 3. You know, he can get to the basket, you know, and just he has the all-around game. I just think for me, he needs to take that step and play a little bit more like LeBron. Be a little bit more passive, knowing that I can go get 30 whenever I want to. That's what I mean by that statement.
Man,
so is that more of the player?
I like you.
Is that more the player or the system? Is it the same for like a James Harden or a Jalen Brunson and like a Luke? Is it that style, or can they get a different system to make him play differently, or that's just it is who he is?
Well, I can't even say it's the system, CP, because at the end of the day, like, he has the ball in his hand. So he can pretty much do what he wants with the basketball. Yeah. So if you got the ball 90% of the time, then you dictate a lot of stuff. So you could dictate making guys better rather than you dictating, I'm trying to go for 50. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, it doesn't really matter what system you in. You know, whether he was in Dallas or he with the Lakers right now, Luka Doncic is going to have the ball. Like, that's just what it is. He's the main focal point. He's the number 1 guy on that team, and he can make guys better. You know, he's that talented. So that would be me as a coach. I would challenge him in that way. Like, Luka, I know you're going to go average 35 a game. I know you can average 40 a game if you really put your mind to it. But me, I want you to make, you know, Rui better. I want you to make DeAndre Ayton better. I want you to make these guys that I know we're going to need to make a strong push in the playoffs. I want to see you make them better.
Yeah, there you go. Makes sense. I want to dive into Dirk a little bit here, Raymond. And we had Devin Harris on the other day. We both agreed that he can be a sarcastic prick talking about Dirk. Charlie Villanueva we had on. He said that he texted one time that he would
never get Dirk on this show. By the way, and we keep going this way.
We already have him. Charlie said he once texted that he wouldn't even trade him for a 75-year-old Michael Jordan. Like, I didn't know this about Dirk when I signed in Dallas, and obviously he's the best guy ever. He came to my wedding. Like, he's one of my dear friends now, but like, his personality is different. What was your experience like playing with him and just like off the court, because the guy is different?
Listen, man, I'm probably one of the best superstars, all-stars, Hall of Famer. I can keep going down the list. Just goofy. He's just Dirk gonna be Dirk. He's just funny. Like, I'm serious. You could be in a training room and he's just gonna come in here and he's just gonna say something out the wall. And never in a million years, when I played for other teams before I came to Dallas, thought that he had that type of personality. Like, I'm telling you, one of the best guys that I play with, one of the best guys to be around, one of the best, just big time Hall of Famers, all-stars, superstars, one of the best guys, one of the best players in the league. For a guy to have that type of status and for him to be the way he is, I mean, that just tells you why the Dallas Mavericks was just one of the top organizations for so long, because you had a superstar like that. And I got to give Dirty his flowers, man. But, man, you hit it spot on, Chandler. He's just goofy, man. He's just one of those dudes that's going to say whatever. I'm going to be honest with you. He put you in the minds of a Shaq. And that's saying a lot. Because we all know how Shaq is. Shaq is crazy. He's goofy. But imagine Dirk like that. Quiet. You think Dirk is quiet, don't really talk to nobody. It's the total opposite. It's the total opposite.
I will say, I think he is the most low-maintenance superstar of all time. Like, he doesn't
Tim Duncan
need
would
much.
like to have a word, just so you know.
By the way, it's one of them, too. And it's not even
And by the way,
because,
also sarcastic, Tim. It's the quiet ones you got to worry about. It always
you
is.
got to watch. Keep an eye on him.
Every single time. By the way, you also played for Rick Carlisle, and we've heard all kinds of fun, magical stories about Carlisle. Can you share one with us? What's the craziest thing he ever said to you?
He told me, he called me in his hotel room, and he told me, he said, "Look, son, I love you to death." He said, "But I just have no minutes for you." So when he told me that, like, it was an ego shock. I was coming off an ankle injury. It was an ego shock, and it was just one of those things where I was like, I had to respect him. I got nothing but love and respect for Rick Carlisle to this day, because at least he told me what it was. And for me, I knew what to do from there. Just go ahead, go work, get my ankle right, and just continue to grind and just earn those minutes when the time came. And the time came at the end of the season. And then when the next year came around, I was able to play a lot of minutes, even start a lot of games. But Rick Carlisle was one of those guys. He was straightforward. He was a little awkward, and I know Chandler remember this, with the whole team of being in a weight room working out, and he'll literally come in the middle of the weight room and just stand there and stare at everybody, wouldn't speak, wouldn't say one word to nobody, and then walk right back out the weight room.
With his shirt tucked in, his sweatpants up to his chest.
His ankles might be taped.
I've heard just tape ankle stuff. Yeah, I heard that before.
But the quiet stare is something.
Game. Say again?
He is a strange dude.
The quiet stare is something. Like, what's he looking at? What's he looking for? I don't know. That's creepy.
No, he would just stare at everybody, and then he would just walk out the weight room, wouldn't say one word.
You've had some legendary leadership, bro. You played for Michael Jordan. What was MJ like as an owner? Did he ever come down and hoop, play ones, talk some trash?
You know what? He came and played one-on-one with me. It was me, Gerald Wallace, Jeff McGinnis, and I want to say Jason Richardson. I think it was us. And he literally didn't have no clothes. He literally went to the back, got a Bobcats practice uniform, and had some Jordans, whatever Jordans he had on at that time. I don't even think there is a Jordan that I ever seen before. Just some chill Jordans. It wasn't even no numbers. And he just came out there. He came out there and he literally
the team Jordans on.
I don't know what Jordans them was.
That's awesome.
But it was fun though, man. Like I even got that picture still in my phone. I'm still trying to get it framed and autographed by him at some point. But it was just in the picture I was smiling. Like, I'm guarding him, but I'm smiling because I'm like, man, I'm sitting here guarding my GOAT right now. I'm guarding my GOAT right now. The best player to ever play the game for me. I'm guarding him right now. So, it was a surreal moment in that situation. But at the same time, I was trying to score on him, but I don't think I ever did.
That's so tough. We like to ask guys on running back, what's their welcome to the NBA moment? What was yours? Is it true that you stopped dunking because of Shaq? Shaq took you down one time. What was your
100%? That's the story I was just about to tell you too. So when I first got in the league, I still can jump a little bit. I can still play above the rim, and Big Shaq, let me know that you better learn to float, young fella, before you think you about to keep coming in here. So I go to the basket thinking I was gonna catch Shaq at the rim. I mean, Shaq put me straight on my back out of midair, and then stepped over me and told me, "Welcome to the league." And they didn't even call a foul. He didn't even call a foul. He literally knocked me out of the air, fell on my back, and he stepped right over me and said, "Welcome to the league."
Wow, he gave you the moment, like he told you.
He took me out the air and kind of just guided me to the ground. Just come on. Don't try that no more.
Oh, that is.
He was being nice to him. He was being nice.
He's worried for you, buddy. By the way, you got a beef with Rashad McCants. Well-known beef. What started it? Where are we today? Are we at peace? No.
I mean, I'm just not talking about him no more at this point. It is what it is. It's just one of those things where he made comments. He said things that I feel like he just went too far, and I just had to address it. As a man and as a guy who did a lot at Carolina. We won a championship together, and one of the best scorers that I've ever played with. For him to go off and say some things the way he did personally about us, at Carolina, and just period, it just didn't sit right with me. So I just had to address it. And I just told everybody that brings it up and everybody on the podcast, I said, listen, we're not talking about this no more. I don't care if he responds. I don't care if he comes back and say anything else. I would no longer say anything else about that guy. But, it is what it is. But as far as where it is today, I mean, it ain't no beef and it ain't no love either.
No, chapter closed. I respect that. I respect it a lot, Raymond. Thank you. By the way, thank you for the time. I hope you enjoy the rest of these playoffs. Love having both you and Charlie on in the last few days. This has been a blast.
Appreciate it, Ray.
I appreciate y'all having us on, man. Thank you.
Hit me up, Ray.
You guys. I got you, brother.
Oh, brother. All right, we'll be right back.
Run it back, run it up, run it back.
Well, this series happened. Lakers, Rockets, Game 6. Go ahead, LA. Win that one. 4-2 is your final in that one. The 98-78 was your final score. LeBron finishes with 28. Rui, 21. Ahmed Thompson had 18. Şengün with his 17 points. And once again, no Kevin Durant. No cares. Afterwards, by the way, JJ Redick went on to say that LeBron James has had the greatest career of any NBA player. That is a very strong statement.
You hate to hear it, Ray Felton. You hate to hear it.
I don't think it's true, but what do you have for us, buddy?
I agree. I don't know how many times you guys say it. I'm on record that I think he's the best player of all time. And what he's doing this year and this postseason is truly remarkable. Like, the guy's not showing any signs of slowing down. He wears many hats. He can play any role. He can play any position. And he's dominated since the moment he was 16 years old. So it's exhausting talking about it. That there's just the intensity, even when Luka and Austin Reeves are in the lineup, that he shifts his focus and turns into like the energy effort guy. He's playing defense. He's taking charges. He's diving on the floor. Like, the fact that he has that type of mindset and attitude just towards competing and winning is almost just as impressive as his actual individual successful career, doing, everything else with the scoring, the assists, the playmaking, because that's obviously what he does best. So this is huge. I mean, again, at 41 years old, to lead your team past a young, up-and-coming, way more talented team in the Houston Rockets, it's just, I'm running out of words to talk about how impressive this dude is. And again, we can talk all we want about Kevin Durant being out. The Lakers' best player is also out. And so they were missing Austin Reeves for the majority of the series. They were missing Luka for this entire series. This was LeBron James and a bunch of role players that didn't look like role players, because when you play with LeBron James, you are that much better of a player. So this was awesome. And now, again, the next series is going to be different.
Stop.
It's going to be tough.
Stop. There is no next series.
Well,
you might as well fast forward.
I don't want to hear any. If he makes this a series, and
stop,
for whatever reason he happens to get this team past them, then I don't want to hear anything else about who's number one.
I will eat something on this table if they get past the Oklahoma City Thunder. There is zero chance.
We're going to have Raymond Felton back on if they get past this.
Yeah.
But
if we're just measuring championships, it's guys that have won more championships than LeBron James, right? But when you consider everything else, he's by far had the best NBA career out of everybody. Like, I'll start here. We're in year 23. He's still relevant. In any field, you're 23 years in and still killing it. That is a amazing run. It don't matter, basketball, whatever, amazing run. Especially in sports where it's physical and it's your body and you're 41 years old and you're still able to do it. And you've been relevant in this business since you were 18 years old. And you've changed 3 different franchises, to the trajectory of 3 franchises as you've gone to those teams. They've had success without you, sure. But when he's come to those teams, they've won championships. A couple of these teams weren't even playoff teams before he was able to make them championship teams. Just everything that he's been able to do. The Bronny James thing, we criticized and critiqued that. People don't realize how much of a milestone that is to have the opportunity to throw lobs and compete next to your son. There's just so many things in this long lineage of LeBron James' career outside of counting championships that he's been a trailblazer and he's done things that we've never seen before and at the level that we've never seen it before. So I got to agree with JJ Redick. With all things considered, it's nobody else that's done more for the game than LeBron James.
39 minutes a game in this series.
No, we had to. No one else was coming. Like that, you were the man, which is crazy.
And got it done.
Here's the deal.
It was the best player in the series. It wasn't even close.
I think why this series, and I'm only going to speak personally here, but I think why this series had no interest to me is because it felt like no matter who came out of it was just going to be sacrificial lamb thrown into the fire of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
The game got to be played, Beadle. I see where you're coming from, but the game got to be played. But you said personally, so I can't fight that.
Yeah, personally, it's just it felt like it was already a deflated situation without even starting, because here we are. They are going to play the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that they lost to on average by 29 points a game during the regular season. Thank you. So let me ask you this, guys. Let's come up with a miracle recipe on how the Lakers could possibly beat OKC. Lou, go.
I don't look at it in miracles. I've been on the other side of being an underdog and got it done. I think they need to get healthy, and that includes Luka as well. I think they got to be a defensive-minded basketball team like they've been, and they got to be able to score the basketball at a high clip. A lot of those things are a tall ask of the Lakers, but we've seen them be able to do it. Now, can they do it against OKC? We're going to see later. We're going to see later on. That's going to be up to them. But all things are possible in sports. Now, does the odds favor in their direction? Absolutely not. We think OKC is a better basketball team, but I've seen crazier things in sports, so that's why the game has to be played.
And I will say their defense is so much better now. Like, I don't know what happened, what clicked, but Marcus Smart, he anchors that defense. LeBron is bought in. Like, everyone, like, they just gave up 78 points, I think it was, to Houston in Game 6. Like, their activity and their length and their different lineups they can go to with Rui and even like Jake LaRavia, like, these guys are moving their feet, and they're at least making it harder to get scored on. Like, in the beginning of the season, their defense was atrocious. They were a bottom defensive team. They went from like bottom 5 to like middle of the pack in like a 3-week span. So that's going to help. Obviously, the Thunder are so dangerous offensively. We know how many different threats they can, make a defense have. But listen, the best thing that they have going for them is that there's zero pressure, man. Like, go out there, you can play free, you could like play hard. No one in the world is expecting us to win this series, and that alone is an advantage for the Lakers.
Yeah, they're going to start that bad boy tomorrow. I will be morbidly curious to sort of see, how that first game goes.
And how do you measure success? Like, if you're the Lakers in this series, like, is it don't get swept?
Not being embarrassed.
What's the success, Lou, in this series? Obviously, you want to win. Like, you think you have a chance.
Want to win. I was going to say, what are y'all talking about? Y'all talking like it's over already.
No, that's my question. Is like a week and a half, 2 weeks from now, when they lose, is 4-2 like respectable? Like I'm saying,
Y'all
big
still
picture.
talking as if they've lost, Chandler. What are you talking about?
Okay, let me. Can
I'm
I
saying
reword
a
it for
month
you,
from
Chandler?
now.
Can I
A
reword
month
it for
from
you?
now, how do we measure
A month
success
from
in
now,
this
if they're
series?
up 4-2, what conversation are we having? We don't know, man.
ain't
Why
happening.
you
Then we're
want me
having
to
LeBron
predict?
James is by
Why
far
you
the best
want me
player
to
in the
Did
predict
the
the
world
losing
end?
speech?
By the way, they're underdogs by 15.5. Can I reword it, Chandler? Because I do
15
understand what
and
you're
a half?
saying. 15.5 in OKC. Let me ask you this.
No,
It's
I
not
understand what he
they're
said
not.
as well.
Yeah, because they'll never think that way.
Listen, it's
I know
0-0.
they're not thinking it now. I'm saying
But
when they
I
look
don't think
back
they
on the
ever
series,
will.
what's like not embarrassing?
Not being swept.
Not being swept. I think that'll be for everybody, right?
Is a gentleman's
Okay.
sweep acceptable? Are we good with that?
This is crazy. We're talking like
not
this
for the
before the
Lakers.
ball is even
No,
tipped.
y'all talking like this. I'm
we're
getting
talking
out of this one. I'm keeping myself out of this one.
All right. Well, let me
All
ask
right,
you
Lou.
this then, Lou. What do you think the
What
you
series
got?
is? What do you think it's
Yeah,
4-1?
Lou.
Like, what do you think?
Mr. Optimist.
No,
Lakers in
I think
7?
I didn't say that either. No, I think this. I think OKC handles business in 6, but I don't know if the Lakers are measuring
6.
it that way. I think it gives them an opportunity. Listen, I
6
just watched the team
games?
play. I just watched the team play great basketball. I'm giving them credit stacked on the back end of what they've been able to do in this first round with the guys that they have. Yeah, I don't think LeBron James and Cole is going out sad like that. I just don't think it. But I also think OKC is a better basketball team and they will be challenged.
I think they need to get Luka back. They need to shoot 50%
big.
from 3, and they need to keep them around 100, 105 points to have any chance.
And
Those would be my
SGA has to
3
decide not to play. I also think that has to happen. So you didn't mention
and
that
miss
part.
a team bus. Miss a team bus.
Just quit basketball. He's going to retire before the series starts. Let's talk a little bit of Rockets because obviously anytime you have KD in the equation, the spotlight's a lot hotter. And the fact that we didn't really get to see him play in this one was shocking, I think, to a lot of us. You know where the narrative's going to go, Chandler. Now we're going to start talking about, was this trade a failure for KD?
No, I don't like it. I don't think so. I think they need to keep Kevin Durant as one of the best players still in the NBA. He's probably going to be second team All-NBA, maybe third. And again, we've talked all year long. Their biggest glaring hole and weakness this year was not having a point guard. They have a really good one who's going to be back next season. So I think patience. You have a lot of young talent. You're going to pay Amen Thompson, from everything I'm hearing, a boatload of money. He's going to be a future piece going forward. Jabari showed big time, strides this year. Reed Shepherd showed flashes. Like, they have enough here. Just see it out, see it whole. A lot of these teams, these franchises, these owners, they want immediate results instead of just playing it out sometimes. Like Orlando, I think there's success here. There's enough talent on that roster to be competitive for a really, really long time. And they have Fred VanVleet going back. You can have a chance to have Kevin Durant come back, Steven Adams, this young core. Like, don't do anything, and you will be really good next year if you're healthy.
Don't do anything crazy, Lou. Don't do anything crazy is what he's saying. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this trade is a failure. At the end of the day, they were missing some key pieces, and I think that's what was going to get Houston over the hump when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers. So when it comes to KD, I think he played well. I think he played great this season. He was the best player on that team, and we were talking about, it being Sengun and all of these other guys. It was your 36-year-old veteran that ended up being. He has a great reputation in playing with injuries and things of that nature. So when he went out in the playoffs, we knew that it had to be something serious. I even to go out on a limb and say if he was healthy, we might be having a different conversation in the way that this series went. So I don't look at it as a complete failure. I think Houston needed everything to work in their favor just as much as the Los Angeles Lakers, and it just didn't go their way, even as much as they tried to fight back in this series. They climbed themselves out of a big-time hole and eventually ran out of gas. I don't look at that as a failure, especially when your team wasn't even healthy to begin with.
Can I do a little fun fact trivia sort of to end the show today? I don't know if Ime Udoka is aware of this, and maybe he doesn't care. But since the 22-23 season, every single head coach that Kevin Durant has played for has been fired, either mid-season or immediately after. Just a fun fact. If you go to trivia tonight at a bar somewhere, I just wanted to throw that out there for y'all's knowledge.
Beads, the Spurs finally play today.
Hold on a second.
The race for Stace.
I got Winnie's jacket ready to go. We'll be all decked out in our.
How do you
it's
even
Winnie's
know
jacket.
Winnie liked the Spurs?
Winnie loves the Spurs. Everybody knows that.
Just bad.
She's been around longer than I
How
have.
do you even know she likes the Spurs?
She lights up. Her one eye just lights up when the Spurs are playing.
Oh.
Guys, Brett does it for us today. Got a little bonus time out of us. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the games.
Yes.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.